Hey, well, good morning. Let's see, it is August 15th, 2024. I'm Adam Blue, and this is the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show, a morning video game show where I'll talk about the latest gaming news, gaming things I've been into, and just, some general gaming discussion in general. Just, game talk. That's why I have game talk in the title, because, like, if someone's searching for some game talk, right? I think it seems like a good idea. But yeah, good to see Autonomous and Jamkel X already here this morning. And you know what? I even already have my coffee made, but I'm gonna let it cool off. Um, but yeah, so it's Thursday, right? It's getting closer to the weekend. We've seen a couple releases. I've played a few more games since we last talked, or not really a few, just one or two. Oh, actually, yeah, there is. Let me make a note to bring something up. Okay. So yeah, first of all, let's do that. Let's show what I've been up to. Okay, so it's showing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate on here. I actually didn't play that. I was loading up my Switch to download demos of some new games, and I haven't even played them. One was that Baraku or Brakara, I forget that sort of old school style 3D platformer. I wanted to check out the demo on that because that looks like it's a lot of fun. Although I wouldn't like get it on Switch. That's what's weird about this. It seems like the Switch has the demo, but I'd rather get it on PC. Um, yeah, that was the reason I got on the Switch. Just that game was loaded on, so it's tracking it. It's kind of interesting just to kind of get an idea of how this exophase system works. How it's picking up all the different platforms that I'm playing on. Okay, so Stormgate. This is the one I spoke about yesterday because I played a little bit. Because yeah, it's finally out for free. It's still early access, but it had like this early access period where you could only play if you paid for it. Now that does give you more things than that you get in the free version. So playing the free version, even though it's still early access, I was able to play the first three single player missions. And playing the first mission, it's not how you grab me with a first mission in an RTS where you're the single character and you go around and do things, like I like that sometimes, but anyway, I got the third mission in this game is awesome. It does exactly what I want a single player like RTS mission to entail, which it kind of starts where there's some basic exploration to kind of get a feel of the area you're starting into. And then what happens is once you establish your base, you see the map extend and open up to be a lot bigger. Like, oh, okay, I have a lot of stuff to do. And what was real fun about this mission, I think it's the third mission, is you just have to go around and destroy these optional camps to rescue prisoners that you then get extra defense. But then you try to go to the enemy base and destroy while you're building and expanding your base. So when it comes to the RTS elements that are very important that make these games fun, this game does a great job. And it reminds me of when I was playing this tactical warfare RTS game recently, where RTSs don't need to necessarily get too advanced or have too much going on. You can keep it simple as long as you keep the work process fun and having exploration, because that's one other thing about the Stormgate game. What is it? Warcraft 3 was the one to kind of really start this. Other games, RTS games, have done it since, where you'd have a hero character that while you're still walking around with the other characters on the map, you have a main hero character that can go around, get special pickups, has XP leveling. And so what's cool about that in this game is it seems any little nook and cranny has some items to get. So the game promotes exploration on the individual maps. Even if you're going into areas that aren't going to be big enough to have enemy bases, there might be a few random enemies and maybe some items. And I don't really fully understand some of these things I pick up yet. Like one was like a medical bandage or something, and then something else looked like it was armor. So I don't know if that goes on to that character and levels them up, even regular infantry. Because as you're playing, you could see regular infantry level up, which I love that. So it's like persistent with units that you can keep alive. So this game does a good job of doing everything that an RTS should do. I would just say that it still feels, and rightly so, early access. If I wanted to play the other missions, I have to pay $10, and it's 3 of them. So I don't, and that wasn't too clear. Is that giving me just one mission? Because it says you have to buy it, and then it says it's $9.99, or is that giving me the next 3 missions that show that's locked? I'll have to figure that out. But I guess at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't be playing this too much right now because what they have cooking is good. It just needs more time to cook. That's really it. And it's exciting. Ever since last year with what was it called? Why am I forgetting the name? Oh, come on. I want to remember. Tempest Rising. Tempest Rising. We have this tactical warfare, Stormgate. Even is it 9-bit armies? Is that the new one? And I need to play it a little bit more. Like the RTSs, it's like they are back, and I feel like they have been, but I think they're just not that popular. And I don't know if that's as a genre, as a specific genre, the base building RTS. Is it where just people don't care anymore, or is it where these developers, publishers don't know how to market it? Because again, I learned recently from EA when they had Command and Conquer that they would take the game to the marketing department, and the marketing department would look at it and make decisions on how to market the game, even if that meant changing the game around. So we do know at this time in the 2000s, when the shooter was becoming a lot more popular and RTSs were less so, EA was actively trying to move away from the RTS, killing what they had, destroying any sort of legacy or possible more interest in the genre. So I think RTS got a bad rap there at that time when, and I think it's the same thing with 2D and 3D. When the industry seemed to be shifting in 3D, it would almost crap on 2D. The things that are 2D are not worth it. And when that wasn't the case, that was just what it seemed like where the money was for a second. And it kind of was. But that doesn't have to be the case. And I think that same thing is going on right now. So yeah. Anyway, Stormgate, RTS. It's good. It's good. It's still early access. It really is. It still feels like it. And again, sometimes it's just as simple as okay, here's a way to put it. They have like the best in game design, the best in like art style, the best in UI, but they don't have the best in the glue that pulls all that together to make it consistent. But that could be, again, part of the early access nature that it's in. Anyway, it's free. Give it a shot. And then yeah, some more Metal Slug Awakening, because that is just my game right now. I can't believe I've put 17 hours into it. It's just one of those things where every day I could pop in, do my stuff. It's weird. It's one of those things in life it's like the Alien vs Predator movie, where it's like it's cool that they did it and I can watch it and there's aliens and predators and they're fighting, but it's not what I want out of an AVP movie. In fact, it almost detracts from the series. And I think this Most Like Awakening is almost that. Like, it looks really good, it plays really good, it does a lot of the cool stuff, but it's the backbone of it, the base of it is the free to play mobile stuff, and that kind of detracts from the series. Yeah, interesting analogy there. Okay, so what's next? Yeah, so Arcade 1-Up. Let me talk about the Arcade 1-Up real quick. So I specifically bought a version of the Arcade 1-Up that had the most variety of games in general. And that was the Street Fighter Championship Edition, because it has 3 Street Fighter games, but it also has Puzzle Fighter. It also has some Capcom sports games like tennis and soccer, and I think basketball might have been the other one. Or tennis, soccer, yeah, basketball, and then it has Strider, it has Final Fight, it has Pro Gear, so it has like shooters, Giga Wing. So it's amazing that it has these shooters, and but Puzzle Fighter is a lot of fun. And it what's really cool is that my wife got into it a whole lot, um, to where we would even like be competing, and it got to the point where she would beat me. Like at first, it was like, oh, I would always win, but really, she figured it out would beat me. But it's even got to a point where, okay, then what is the strategy? You know, it reminds me of it's similar to that other melon based puzzle game that came out recently where you play two player. It's just almost like you can have the same skill, but it's at the luck of when a certain piece has fallen at a certain time on either side, you know, or you can just get the upper hand that way. Anyway, um, it, so that Puzzle Fighter game takes me back. So I first played it when it came out on Game Boy Advance. I think it was Game Boy Advance. And this was 2002, 2003. Let me see. Puzzle Fighter GBA. Let me see. GBA. No. That's funny how it automatically, you can't see, but automatically went to ROM, and I wasn't searching ROM. Let's see. So this 2003. So that makes sense. March 2003. Was it March 2003? Was when I got my first like main job out after high school. You know, because I did do some jobs after high school, but the main like career professional style job, and it was private security. And there would be that was a fun job. I'll have so many stories from that time period. But one main thing was there was be a lot of times where I'd work at these posts where there'd be nothing going on for a long time, where I would just be standing around. And so, yeah, early on I had the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I want to say it started with the Advance, then when the SP came out, I think with the light wasn't. Yeah, that was like the main one to get. But anyway, I that's where I would play a lot of those uh, uh, Castlevania Advance games. This is when I first played Super Puzzle Fighter 2, and that is just a fun and addicting game. And I was able to sit there and play forever, like so much. Where the music is stuck in my head, the levels are stuck in my head. So when we're like playing the arcade here, the arcade one up here, like hearing the music, seeing it, it takes me back to that time, which is very interesting, to have that nostalgia for something that I wouldn't necessarily be nostalgic for in a way, because that game originally came out in the arcades like in 96. So, but anyway, I mean, if you think about it, from 96 to 2003 really wasn't that long. It's crazy to think about that. But anyway, and so what's really cool with this too is I can go and play online on this arcade one up on any of the games and just do it where it doesn't require a code for a room to make it private. It doesn't like spell it out for you, but that's kind of how it works. So as I'm just playing through Puzzle Fighter 2, someone challenges me, because they happen to be online too. And the first round I murdered them, but then I think they realized what they were dealing with and unlocked something I hadn't seen, where they were able to get me like within 30 seconds. And I don't know if there's a trick to it, like how maybe it was a mix of my placement versus how they were maybe back stocking. There's probably a word for that, stocking up on the colors. So then when you hit them and destroy a whole lot at once, I don't know. He just happened to time it right where he got me so quick, and I was so surprised. And so I'm trying. So it's at a point where I'm trying to figure out like what are some of what's the meta of the game? How that is with online games or playing competitive games, where there's like that certain uh, stat or that certain thing you can use to sort of win every time. Brute force yourself to victory. So. Yeah. Anyway, Puzzle Fighter, great game. Awesome to have it on the arcade here because that's not like the first thing you think of when you want an arcade machine for the home. But I'm glad I went with this decision because that's a lot of fun. And some I didn't bring up here when I won my first match of Street Fighter on the arcade one up. It was actually the Super Street Fighter 2, hyper fighting, right? The faster one. And that just happened to be where I wasn't even in that game specifically. I think I was just in general Street Fighter. I did quick match, and it just matches you on with whoever happens to be online. That person No, I beat them. Yeah, it was Super Street in regular the championship edition Street Fighter. I get destroyed, but Super, I was able to win. And and it's fun because like I play these Street Fighter games and they're good, but there's other ones that I would prefer like to be playing online, other fighting games in general. Just thinking back to the arcade, like when I would play in the arcade, yeah, Street Fighter 2 was a big one. Mortal Kombat was another one. Virtual Fighter. Yeah, it was really a lot of Street Fighter. The Super Street Fighter 2, the faster one. Okay. So is that it with that story? Yeah, that was just me talking about the arcade one up. Puzzle Fighter. Ton of fun. Okay. Let's look at some news I found. So yeah, speaking of fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection potential release date briefly appears online before being deleted. At first I wasn't gonna get this just because I already have it. Many versions, played it to death. But I do kind of like the idea of kind of supporting these modern releases. And then yeah, just another way to kind of like these are games that I like to play through anyway, and I haven't in a while, so this is a good time to. And some of them I actually haven't. Like I've played a lot of multiplayer tournament, Adam, but I don't think I've like played through the arcade like single player mode as much. But for I would say yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for sure. The other one's probably just a little bit. Anyway, the point is on here, I think they said November. Yeah, November 22nd was a date that was published but then deleted. So, and that makes sense around that time. It's interesting how there seems to be a lot of games that are going to be coming out soon that haven't actually been officially announced. So there's sometimes on these morning streams that I'll look at release dates coming in the future, and we'll notice whatever games. The reason I check back on that often is because a lot of times a game will just come out that wasn't expected. And that's what's interesting. You would think this collection would already have a release date, but it actually didn't. Although November 22nd is not far away. So, okay. Looking at the leaks on Reddit, there's a few interesting things. Tom Warren, The Verge, backs up Xbox game coming to PS5, but suggests it's not Forza Horizon 5. It's definitely not coming to PS5 next week. It's just an announcement. So that's interesting. So basically, another Xbox exclusive game is coming to PS5. What could that even possibly be if it's not Forza Horizon 5? Like if we're looking at it from Microsoft's strategic standpoint, if it's not something like a Forza Horizon 5, which is kind of like their first party, I mean, there's one of their bigger games, even though I personally like it's fine. I played, I think, the second Forza Horizon game, played through it, completed it. By the time I got to the third, I was like, okay, I've done all this. So like on one hand, I don't care. But on the other hand, this seems like Microsoft would want to make Forza Horizon 5 the game that's on PS5. But what else would it be? That's the other thing. If they're saying it's not. And then Dragon Age, The Veilguard, October 31st, another game that I thought we'd have a release date for, and it's sooner than we think. That's pretty cool. Let me click into this Tom Warren thing, see if anyone has any. Solitaire. That's funny. All this teasing just for it to be Redfall. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, Gears. Interesting. Oh, well, Tronimus saying secretly hopes it's Halo Master Chief Collection. I think that makes sense. If they made the Master Chief Collection available to play on PlayStation and it had crossplay with Xbox and PC, that would be amazing. That what if that breathed whole new life into Halo and then people are just going back to playing classic Halo? Um, hmm, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what else. Was there any other interesting news that came from this? Well, someone's corroborating Forza Horizon 5 going to PS5, but we're not getting into this again because that happened before. The same people, they hear some leaks, they jump to conclusions, and then they agree, and that's really not the conclusion. Um, and then there's no active plans for Starfield for PS5, but it will happen eventually. Forza 5 is arriving to PlayStation 5 in the next few months. That's okay. So that's where that started. And then Insider Gaming corroborates. And then that's when we get Tom Warren says there is a game, but it's not Forza Horizon 5. Be interesting to see what it is. Yeah, right here. Big Xbox game coming to PlayStation next week, according to Shinobi. He's a insider. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder what it could be. Let me talk about Xbox Series exclusives. Let's see if we have a list of exclusives where we can kind of get an idea of. Okay, so we're looking at, they're showing games coming out in the future. Yeah, like I wouldn't think it would be Indiana Jones. I feel like if that was the case, they wouldn't announce it unless the plan is to announce that Indiana Jones is also going to be on PS5. That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't what I was looking for, this list. I was kind of looking for, or Hellblade 2. I wonder if they would do something like that. The thing is, it doesn't seem like it would be, well, let's look at it from this case. What if this is just better for the game's exposure, not necessarily for the brand? What if, the decision that's going to be made, is it more for the game to do better, or is it for Xbox brand visibility? Brand visibility would tell me it's Master Chief Collection. Something like Hellblade 2 would tell me that they're just trying to help Hellblade make more money. So that's kind of the direction I feel like it's going to be. Like Flight Simulator, that doesn't seem like one that people that want to play Flight Simulator are going to play it. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what it is. Quantum Break. So did Quantum Break really not come out on PlayStation? That would be interesting just because now we have, that world from Remedy. They're now making it where the games are connected. They're going to come out with sequels. I know Control's getting a sequel. They're doing the Max Payne remasters. What if that's what it is? I don't know. Sunset Overdrive. Wow, that brings me back. That was a fun game. It came and went. I think it was ahead of its time. Yeah. I mean, that seems like, I really don't have any good understanding, because I guess I'd have to get an understanding of what they're trying to do to really know what game it could be. Okay, let's see what else. Let's actually jump to the latest headlines. Ultronomus, Sunset Overdrive would have been cool to see transition, or that one exclusive Dead Rising. I think Dead Rising 3. Yeah, Dead Rising 3 was an exclusive. That would make sense too, especially with this Dead Rising remaster. You would think, Capcom would maybe want to capitalize on that. Yeah, that could be a good one. All right. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is still launching in 2024. Yeah, that's that thing I kept bringing up, how it seems like these games that should be coming out this year are like getting announced at the last minute, or their dates at least. Yeah, Modern Warfare Remastered climbs Steam charts as MW2 multiplayer mod prepares to launch. Yeah, I noticed that looking at Steam sales. I was surprised to see this. And I think I played this because I think it came with. Did it come with Modern Warfare 2? It came with. Yeah, it was because I remember I was playing it on PC. It was either Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 came with the Modern Warfare Remastered. And I don't think I played through it all, but I played a little bit of it. Yeah. Steam OS support coming to ROG Ally and other handhelds. Interesting. So, Valve designer confirmed the news after the update. The note about ROG Ally keys is related to third-party device support for Steam OS. The team is continuing to work on adding support for additional handhelds on Steam OS. So that's what's interesting, because like you can get a Steam OS for the handhelds, but it's not built out to be a proper Steam OS. You can't really do that. So I don't know what they are meaning by this, unless they mean where could there be. I mean, it's so. I know it's hard to get out what I'm trying to say. Valve would almost have to make a custom Steam OS for the ROG Ally. I think just because there's support doesn't mean all of a sudden people can start. Yeah, they can start making a version of Steam OS. That would be interesting, but why would you do that? Because then you're just limiting what the system can do. That's interesting. All right. Embracer prioritizing controlled key IPs to improve profitability of PC and console releases. That sounds like a good idea. Anyone with if you got good IPs, you need to use them. Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox, it's claimed. Yeah, I believe that. Huh. So just like an Xbox title going to PlayStation title is coming to Xbox too. So, okay. Embracer sales dropped 24% due to tough comparisons with Dead Island 2. Yeah, is it because Dead Island 2 actually came out the end of 2023? Or was it the beginning of 2023 or the end of 2022? Something like that. And it was a surprise hit. It was actually fun. I didn't beat it, but I got pretty far. Yeah, so that Dragon Age Veilguard, I know, I think people would be excited about a Dragon Age. It's been a while, so it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. I almost feel like it has to be good for a lot of reasons, and one being it's EA. Well, I think that's about. Oh, Antstream Arcade coming to PlayStation. That's interesting. Interesting. It's the first third-party cloud gaming service on PlayStation, but it's interesting that it's this Antstream thing. I did not think that would happen. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Thanks for joining. Not too much crazy news except that PlayStation game could be coming on Xbox. Or no, Xbox game could become on PlayStation, because there is a PlayStation game coming to Xbox. So that's the times we live in now. It's like normal. Anyway, that's about it. See you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.